Auburn beats Alabama, they've got momentum. They go to their ball game and win it. Both teams finish 10-3. So the balance of power in the state has shifted tremendously. Also, you have a scenario that's being talked about here where if Auburn loses, a lot of people think that Arkansas is going to make a big play for Coach Malzahn again. So that would be a huge. But if Auburn wins, I think they'll want to give Malzahn another raise, and he'll be the toast of the state. So just think of the stakes of this ball game, and you haven't even talked about the playoff implications.
Very true. I like that. I think you're right. I think there's a lot of truth in that, Bill. I really do. And it is a running out, regardless of what it all boils down to this last ball game, and that's where the pressure comes from. And I'm telling you, don't think it's not pressure on the sidelines as well.
Right.
It's not just on the kids on the field. Every play call. Remember, Gus made a big deal out of him calling the plays this year. Well, with a freshman quarterback, that's well and good, and and maybe overall, but they had some miscues along the way as well. As Mike said, opening up, he's still a freshman. So I think the implication here from this ball game really has a lot to do with what the future holds for both programs.
Now, the skill positions, Alabama with their great wide receivers, and I would say, at least one, maybe two outstanding running backs. How do you think that matches up with Auburn?
Well, I think first and foremost, Mike, it depends on. Don't matter about those wide receivers if Mac Jones can't get the ball to them.
That's
so
right.
As far as the wide receivers, we know they're the best in the country, and Auburn's secondary is a little above that. They're not great though. They rely on that front three to get to the quarterback. I mean, that's where the whole thing is. If the quarterback ain't got time to throw, they neuter the wide receivers because they just run it down the field with no ball.
Yeah, exactly. I was, of course, Troy really embarrassed everybody, but a lot of people wonder what happened. They defended Troy. Their secondary defended Troy's wideouts about as good as anybody. And I don't care how good your quarterback is, and Barker is one of the best in the country. If he doesn't have open receivers, he's got to throw it in a crowd, and he had to do that a bunch.
Yeah, you know what? And the game coming up, it ain't going to be a lot of difference, Mike.
No question about it. And back looking at that game a little bit, Max. Of course, Alabama Auburn. Everything's is yet to be seen what's going to happen. But I think you're going to be surprised at Alabama, maybe how good they might play. I think Alabama's got an edge there. I really do. I think people expected more from Auburn and not expecting as much from Alabama. I think it's going to turn around on them a little bit.
I think if Alabama can beat Auburn in that hostile environment with its second-string quarterback, all the injuries they've had on defense, it'll have to be one of the biggest wins in recent Alabama history. To me, the thing about this, y'all, that Auburn, LSU's offense is better than Alabama's, or at least as good. Auburn held LSU to 23 points, I think, in a game played at LSU. So I can certainly see Auburn playing on the plains holding Alabama to 23 points with its second-string quarterback. So the question really becomes, can Alabama's defense hold Auburn to under 23 points?
Yeah, I think that's a legitimate question. Yeah, look, guys, that's what we said from day one. That was all Kevin Steele at LSU. It was that design defense. They put three rushers up there. They put a middle linebacker as a spy, and they dropped seven. And Burris, for 2.5, 3 quarters, Burris can get the ball down the field. LSU had to change their offense to make that work. I'm going to see if they can do that against Alabama.
All right, Max, your prediction. Who do you like? You like Alabama?
I like Alabama in a close one. I don't know that 13.5. For Alabama's sake, I'd like to see them win by more than that, so they can move forward on the playoff. But if they win the ball game, then it's going to be obviously up to the selection committees what they do with them. Look, there's a reason Alabama's a 13.5-point favorite coming out of Vegas. Those guys don't miss that.
Are they a third?
No, I think it's actually 3.5, Max.
Did it drop?
It opened at 4, and then it went to 3.5. Somebody else is I think that's some other game, but yeah, Alabama is just a 3.5-point favorite.
Well, that's a pick-em ball game, guys.
Yeah.
On the local field. So if that be the case, Alabama. I didn't realize it. That my information that I got that was over a week or two ago.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah.
Looked at the lines.
All right, Max, we got to find out one thing, and a lot of people are tuning in. What do you got for Thanksgiving? What are you going to cook for Thanksgiving?
I'm cooking for 25 people tomorrow, Mike.
Oh boy!
I've got two guys in it. We're gonna really do two kinds of turkeys. I'm gonna deep fry one, and see, I do an oven baked turkey unlike most other people. I take one right out of the freezer, frozen, and I put the butter on it, black pepper on it, and I wrap it tight. I cook it for 24 hours on 200 degrees.
Wow!
And, when it comes out, guys, I'm telling you, you got the giblet. You got the giblets already there, but the meat falls off the bone. We'll have that.
At 200, you're going to cook it at 200 degrees. That's
for 24
hours.
Fire,
isn't it? Yeah, I got you.
Well, for 24 hours it will be.
And you won't open that thing up either, will you? You'll
Not
leave
one.
it shut.
Absolutely, the whole time. And so that's my turkey situation. And we'll have a small ham. A lot of people, want ham on turkey.
Yeah,
but we do the tradition. I'll do sweet potato casserole. I'll do two kinds of dressing. I'll do standard or regular dressing. I do oyster dressing along with that as well.
Don't ruin that dressing with those oysters now. Don't ruin that.
Well, I give people a choice, Mike. I got a lot of different folks up here. I got some backwoods guys up here. Eat anything you put in front of.
Squirrel.
You have to get up early. You have to get up early to start cooking, aren't you?
I'll start around 5 in the morning. Cause we go eat right. We traditional up here. We do around 12 or 1 o'clock. What I did, and we'll do a relish dish and all that. Then on dessert, we'll do a pecan pie, a sweet potato pie. Right now for sure, and then there'll be one or two other surprises. I got one guy that's going to make homemade ice cream. I don't care what we have. So,
you're right, man.
It'll be a fun day, and then I get a chance to bring all the leftovers home.
All right, buddy. Well, listen, it's always fun, and we appreciate you so much, and thank you so much for calling in this morning.
Happy Thanksgiving, Max.
You guys have a great Thanksgiving. You also do, and it'll be fun next week to talk about it.
Yeah, sure will. Thank you.
Well,
thank you, guys.
We will go to a commercial now, and then we'll try to get Michael Amos Jr. back. So you're watching Today in L.A., and it's Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving. So the holidays are almost here. So we'll be right back on Today in L.A.
Discounts, big selection, and really big deals. It's the big pre-owned sale, only at Premier Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Pre-owned vehicles start at $29.95. Over 50 vehicles under $15,000. $29 down, and you can drive today or take advantage of payments starting at $99 a month. That's $29 down, and payments starting as low as $99. From Montgomery to Dothan, the best pre-owned deal are at Premier Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram or online at PremierChrysler.com. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
Do you want a good truck driving job? Do you want to drive for the best? Then drive for Wiley Sanders Truck Line. We have good benefits. We have good home time. We have Blue Cross Blue Shield. We match your 401k up to 4%. You can start in the 401k retirement plan after 30 days of employment. You need to drive for Wiley Sanders Truck Line. It's time for you to think about you and your family's future. Wiley Sanders Truck Line. $1,000 sign-on bonus? These guys did.
At Marguerite's, we've been designing and crafting custom jewelry for 4 generations. It's an art for master jewelers. There's really no room for error. It doesn't matter how big the diamond is. You don't expect anything less than perfection. What matters is quality, beauty, and value. After all these decades, your engagement ring is still our greatest pride. Marguerite's exquisite jewelry.
Trojan Auto Parts of Troy, home of Napa Know-How. Stop by and see owners Mike and Melissa Kilcrease and their Napa Know-How team with over 100 years of combined experience. We're the only locally owned parts store in Pike County, and we're fully stocked and ready to serve you. We pride ourselves on being your go-to parts store, not only for the simple items, but we specialize in those hard-to-find items as well. Trojan Auto Parts, the right part at the right price at the right time. Napa, a name you've trusted here in Troy since 1945.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
All right, we're back on Today in LA, and we're rejoined by Michael Amos in Drayton Beach. We appreciate Mac Fowle, as always, for being our guest and offering his opinions on college football, especially the Iron Bowl. And now we're going to talk about some of the other big games.
What about Egg Bowl? I was more concerned about the Egg Bowl. Who's going to win between Ole Miss and Mississippi State?
I didn't ask him. I should ask him.
It's going to be a big game.
Well, what do you think?
Well, I think
playing very well.
Yeah, but Ole Miss is 4-7. Mississippi State's got a chance to go to a bowl and save this guy's job.
Ole Miss is trying to save his guy's job too. Are they eligible? Can they make it to a bowl?
Yeah, if Mississippi State wins, I think they can.
Yeah, Mississippi State can, but Ole Miss is 4-7.
All right, so they can't.
You know,
Alabama and Auburn is a 50 points. It's the over/under.
That's not much, is it?
Well, I mean, 27-24 is what I predicted. I predicted Auburn to win the game 27-24, so that goes over.
Barely.
Yeah, we're gonna go over some of these games, Mike, and
would you like me to find a good Iron Bowl trivia question for the cooler today?
I got one.
Rice has got it.
Okay.
And we'll do that. Rice, can you hold up that cooler? Is it hard to show the cooler?
Yeah, it'd be tough for me to walk back and Scott's going to go over there and help me. But folks, it is a beautiful Yeti cooler. I think they retail for at least $300. So nobody gives away a nicer gift than Premier Chrysler Dodge.
Yeah, I'm on their website. Premier Chrysler Dodge is doing a lot of Black Friday deals as well. So keep that in mind coming up on Friday to go out there and you get some really amazing deals on all their inventory of vehicles.
Well, that's probably why Jason is not here today. They're getting ready for that Black Friday sale. Boy, wouldn't it be a great Christmas present to drive home with one of these beautiful vehicles on Christmas morning?
Okay, and of course we were going to give one away this next segment or very soon. So we're going to take the first caller. Is that what we're going to do, or how we're going to do it?
Well, I can. When we get a caller, I'll have to put off one of y'all to answer it, though.
All right. Well, what we're going to do is in just a few minutes, we're not going to do it right this.
Yeah, let's do it at the end of the show. I will do the trivia question. Let's say at 25 minutes after the hour, and then that'll give somebody a chance to win that cooler at the very end of the show.
Okay. But then you got to answer that question too, and that's not going to be easy either.
Well, the question isn't that hard. I know what it is.
Well, I know it. It'll take a
couple minutes for people to call in. Well, we'll stay on the air if we haven't got somebody called in.
All right, 1A matchups in high school. You got Lynette against Sweetwater.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one. Lynette is 11-0, I believe, 11 or 12-0. They really got a good football team.
And then Leroy, who breaks everybody's heart in our area, they're 11-2 at Reeltown. That's a big game in 2A.
I like T.R. Miller beating Mobile Christian for the simple reason that T.R. Miller was good enough to beat Pike County High School. So that tells me all I need to know right there.
Yeah, very interesting. These teams both got better because T.R. Miller's 9-4 and Mobile Christian's 8-4.
Yeah.
It's all how you're playing at the end of the year, how you finish. That's right.
Yeah. Now the winners of these games this week will be in Auburn next week for the state championship. Mm-hmm. And of course, central of Clay County is where Jim Jackson played his high school football.
No, Dad, you got another week. This is just the quarterfinals.
Semifinals.
This is in the finals. Only only 7A is done. 7A, doesn't have enough teams, so there'll be another game next weekend.
The winner of these games we're predicting will play for the championship, won't they?
Yeah.
No, that's not correct.
All right. Central of Clay County will play Mortimer, Jordan.
Isn't there one more week, or is this the fourth week? That's right. You're right.
Yeah, it's the semifinals. There's 2 games in each classification except for 7A. So they are playing for the right to go to Jordan-Hare. It was going to be in Tuscaloosa, but Alabama has a stadium in renovation, and so they moved it to Auburn this year.
Yeah, that's
all right. Ohio State, Michigan is the biggest game other than the Iron Bowl. I think Ohio State will still win. Do you think Michigan's going to win it?
I do.
I love Michigan. This is huge for both teams. Michigan's got defense, and they're starting to play pretty good on offense. They got Peterson, the kid that used to be at Ole Miss.
Shea Patterson.
Patterson, excuse me. But he made a big difference in their team.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting day of football. I was talking to my neighbor. He's a Florida State fan. And you got Michigan, Ohio State at 11. You got Auburn, Alabama at 2:30. And then you got Florida State at 6:30.
Well, I don't care about Florida State. When's Wisconsin at Minnesota? Is that a Friday game?
I don't know. I'll have to look and see on that.
Minnesota actually controls its own destiny. If Minnesota beats Wisconsin, then beats Ohio State, an undefeated Ohio State in the Big Ten Conference Championship game, it'd be hard to leave out Minnesota from the playoffs. They'd have one loss, and they'd have all these big wins.
No question about it.
But it's robbery week. Oklahoma State, I think will be a good game. I hate that Oklahoma State's quarterback's out because I think they probably would have won the game with their starting quarterback. Oklahoma's been
quarterback out, Mike.
That's according to Forrest Lee yesterday. But Oklahoma has literally been just barely getting by these last few weeks. And this game's in Stillwater, so I don't know. I still kind of lean Oklahoma State for some reason.
I do too. That Oklahoma State is a 13-point underdog. I couldn't believe that one playing in Stillwater.
That's just telling me the quarterback's not going to play.
That's it. And the new quarterback started last week against West Virginia. He wasn't terrible. They say he's used to be the starter at Hawaii. He transferred to Oklahoma State, but he's obviously not as good as their other guy.
Let me tell you another scenario. And people are going to say, "Oh, you're out of your tree." Texas A&M has got a shot at beating LSU. Texas A&M's got some players. I think they're going to have a shot at beating LSU.
I don't know. Munn's just not a big-time quarterback. He can't ever win the big game.
But the only thing, another thing, too, LSU's playing at home. But, hey, they were playing at home when Troy beat them. You remember that?
Texas A&M is not a bad football. I still say they should be in the top 25.
They just say that if the ball bounced sort of funny a few times, and Texas A&M got a lead, they could be trouble.
Well, don't you think Texas A&M could have beat Georgia last week if you watched that game? They were right in it at the end.
Well, I took Texas A&M. I thought they'd play well, but it was one of those situations where if you watched, late in the game, they had a couple obvious pass interference calls that just wasn't called on Georgia. Mm-hmm. But Georgia is basically catching a break this week. They're playing Georgia Tech, who's horrible. LSU's got to play Texas A&M, who's least physical, and then you got to turn around and play the SEC championship game. I'm starting to favor Georgia to beat LSU.
That wouldn't surprise me, Michael.
What time we got?
We got about 15 minutes.
All right, let's give away a Yeti cooler real quick.
All right. I'm gonna give everybody the trivia question, and when they call in,
let me hear the trivia question here.
All right. Since it's Iron Bowl week, we're gonna have an Iron Bowl trivia question. And one of the biggest Iron Bowls in history took place in 1971. This was the year before the Bama Punt Iron Bowl. It was a showdown between two great players from Birmingham, Alabama. One of them, of course, was the great Pat Sullivan, who won the Heisman Trophy that week or the week before, and a Alabama running back who upstaged Sullivan ran for approximately 200 yards, and Alabama won the game easily over number 5, Auburn. The trivia question, name that running back for Alabama that had that great game, and tell me what number he wore. So,
that's Dad's favorite player.
It was my favorite player growing up, too.
Yeah, he was. He was my favorite player. He and Snake. Now, I love old Snake, too, but we're going to find out, and we got the first caller. The first caller's going to win this thing.
They're going to win a Yeti cooler, so we're looking for the Alabama star running back, 1971 Iron Bowl, and what number he wore. If you know that, call in 670-0052. The number's on the bottom of the screen, and we'll take the first person with the correct answer. So 670-00.
Put one of us on hold. You'll put one of us on hold.
The Auburn, the Troy Appalachian State over under 62.5. I think that's probably going to happen.
Yeah, I do too. It's going to be a beautiful day, I hope. Or do you expect any rain? What do you think?
I mean, as far as I know, I think it's supposed to be pretty good weather in Troy.
Okay, I think it's going to be a great ball game, and I think Troy.
This guy's nickname, if anybody's wanting to know the trivia question, he was the Italian Stallion.
Oh, yeah.
Mike, just well go ahead and answer the question.
Well, nobody called in yet, so I figured people were having a hard time.
Well, you know what, Mike? Let me tell you why I think it's so crazy. Your mama just answered the question.
See, your mom got it. Well, there might be some younger people in the audience that wouldn't know this player. So you probably, if you're over 50 years old, you should know it.
The answer is Rocky Balboa.
I don't know.
All right, so Michael, can you hang up, and then call right back so we can get this line?
All right, good.
All right. Scott said we got a caller coming in, so they're going to transfer it. He's also a successful commodity broker in Chicago these days.
It really is. It's very, very good alumnus. In fact, both his boys played at Northwestern.
All right, let's pick him up. Let me put you on hold. You're on Today in L.A. Do you know the answer to the trivia question?
Yes, I think it's Johnny Musso, number 22.
All right, congratulations. You have won a Yeti cooler. Compliments of Premier Chrysler Dodge Jeep. What is your name? Can you give me your name, sir?
Scott Sharp.
What's your first name again?
Scott Sharp.
Do you remember that game, Scott?
Yes, sir.
Are you an Alabama fan or an Auburn fan?
An Alabama fan since I was in the first grade.
Well, how many yards? I just know Johnny Musso had around 200 yards. I'm not sure of the exact number. Do you have any idea?
It seemed like it was around 220-something or 230.
Yeah, and he had a ton of carries, didn't he? He ran the ball just about every play.
Every play, and he would crawl 5 yards on it before his knees would go down.
Well, congratulations, Mr. Sharp. Good luck to your team this Saturday. And you can go to Premier Chrysler Dodge and tell them you won the trivia contest, and you can pick up your cooler, and maybe you can use it over this Thanksgiving weekend. All right. You're on Today in L.A. Who's this? All right. Hello. Well, and doing all the...
You got me.
All right. So Michael dropped off, and it was a Mr. Scott Sharp, Mike, that won the trivia contest.
Well, I like Scott, and I'm tickled that he won. That's great. And Scott has always been a strong supporter of our show. And what was the answer?
It was Johnny Musso, and he's a big Alabama fan, and he knew how many yards he had. He said he thought it was like 222 on a ton of carries. I think he did carry the ball about 35 times. So Johnny Musso was a tired player that afternoon.
You know the crazy thing about it, that was the days of the Sullivan and Beasley, and and Alabama had Musso, and Musso and Sullivan were best friends growing up. They were real close friends growing up in Birmingham, but they were always against each other. And boy, that was the heyday of college football or high school football back in the days of Sullivan, Beasley, and Johnny Musso and all that great.
Well, Auburn got revenge the next year. Alabama was leading 16-3 going into the fourth quarter, and somehow Auburn blocked 2 punts and won the game 17-16. And I believe
Go punt, Bama punt, wasn't it?
and the quarterback for Auburn was from right here in Pike County.
Randy Walls.
The great Randy Walls.
That was one of our trivia questions later. Well, let me tell you, Scott, my wife was saying she wishes she had one of those Yeti coolers. And let me tell you something. We got one when we bought a brand new Jeep Cherokee from Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep on the bypass right in Troy. They've got a tremendous sale going on right now, Black Friday sale. Now, bring Michael back in, if you will, and of course, again, Scott Sharp, you go to Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep and Ram truck on the bypass and tell them you won the contest, and they'll give you a selection to choose from. My wife loves that little baby blue cooler, and it is a wonderful, wonderful item to have. And again, Christmas comes early for you, Scott Sharp.
He's already left us, Mike, but I told him all that, so he's excited, and I'm happy he won it. I've told you before that one of my thrills as a young Alabama fan was my dad took me to the Alabama-Miami game in that same season in the Orange Bowl, because we lived in Fort Myers, Florida at the time, and since Dad had just quit playing 10 years earlier, he got us in the locker room after the game, and I got Johnny Musso's chin strap. He gave me his chin strap, and I saved that for 20 years.
Well, you got Johnny Musso's chin strap. Hey, and listen, as a grown man, I've been excited about that.
You're right, Mike, yeah. He was just
no question about it.
A class guy.
But what was also unique about number 22, you couldn't tell what number it was most of the time because of why.
Because they had those tearaway jerseys, probably. And then
they had those tearaway jerseys, and they were like a T-shirt. And somebody grab a hold of it, the running back would run away from it.
Yeah, I remember those. Those were fun.
No question about it.
Well, you think about all the legends that have been made because of this game. Let's talk about Auburn. The legend of Bo Jackson. Wouldn't you say it really began with 2 unforgettable games?
Wrong way, Bo. He ran the wrong way. You remember that?
Yeah, all these games had names in the 80s. You had Wrong Way Bo. You had let me put you on hold.
Let's get Mike in here.
And let's see, conference. Okay, Michael, you back?
Yeah, I'm back on.
He said you've been a good sport today. We gave away the cooler like I thought it was the world's easiest trivia question. Even Auburn fans would have known that one.
This is going to be fun. What we're going to do in the next 10 minutes. We got about 7 minutes left.
Did they get the number right?
Oh, yeah. He was
they got it right.
Huge Alabama fan. He could tell me more about that game than I remember or your dad remembers. It was Mr. Scott Sharp.
Worked for Coca-Cola for many years, and a good friend of mine won the prize. And congratulations was brought to you by Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep and Ram trucks on the bypass right in front. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna just sort of ad-lib here. All right, all right. You remember the guy that's on the end of the round? Do you remember Sawyer? What was his name? The reverse that beat Alabama. You remember that?
You talking about Lawyer Tillman?
Yeah, that Lawyer Tillman.
All right, we're gonna look at different Alabama games.
Yeah, Larry Blaney claims he called that play.
Yeah, Larry Blaney called that play, and Lawyer Tillman ran the reverse on the goal line.
Yep.
Beat Alabama. You remember that?
Yep.
But Jack Crow approved it.
Tell us some more highlights.
Well, the Wrong Way Bo, the Alabama fans refer to that as he waxed the dude game because Roy Turner came up and waxed Brent Fullwood and gave that famous quote after the game and said, describe the play. He said, I just came up and waxed the dude.
They were supposed to call timeout on that play with Lawyer Tillman. They were supposed to call timeout. And Larry said they tried to call timeout and they couldn't get the timeout in. And they read it and read the reverse and he scored on it.
I remember Ray Perkins' second year, Alabama had a terribly disappointing season, but they salvaged the year by winning the Iron Bowl. Alabama finished 5-6 that year, but they upset Auburn. I remember
Who was some of the stars of that game? Do you remember?
It was a great defensive effort. Paul Carruth was the running back workhorse that took over after Kerry Good blew out his knee. He ended up being really good.
Trivia question. Where was Paul Carruth from?
I know he's from Mississippi. I couldn't tell you the city in Mississippi.
Oh, no, he lived in Alabama. His daddy was a high school coach.
Oh, I thought he was from Mississippi.
Where was he from? Arab?
What?
Was he from Arab?
No. Now my mind's gone blank. He was from right there, right just one county down from where your mama law's from.
Huh.
I think he's from Mississippi.
All right, let me tell you something. A great Auburn.
Yeah, you're right. Bill, he was born in Hattiesburg, Mississippi.
All right, but let me tell you this. Exactly. But he played high school football at the same place that Joe Cribbs played high school football. Y'all know?
Summerton?
No, not Summerton. No.
All right, we got to move on.
We got 3 minutes per.
We'll answer that question in a few moments. All right, give it to.
I mean, Van Tiffin's kick's huge, but the biggest of all time has got to be the kick six. I mean, that's the biggest play ever in Iron Bowl history. I mean, not for Alabama fans, but
Alabama punt was another one that was unreal because Alabama dominated that ball game.
Yeah, David Langner ran in both kicks, didn't he?
I'll tell you, Auburn has cost Alabama a couple national championships. They cost Alabama a national championship perhaps that year. And in that Bama punt game, Alabama could have gone on and played for a national championship. They were undefeated and number 2 in the country when they lost to Auburn. So Auburn is used to being a spoiler when Alabama has a chance to win a national championship, which I think fits this year. Don't y'all guys think that? At least Alabama has a chance.
The most brutal by far though is got to be Cam winning in Tuscaloosa when Alabama got up 24-0. I was at that game. I never in my life thought I'd see Alabama blow a 24-point lead.
You know, I had a bad feeling. I was there too, Michael, and when Trent Richardson had a ball that was kind of low that Greg McElroy threw him, but it was very catchable around his knees, and he dropped it, and Alabama didn't score a touchdown. And I told my future wife, Carrie, I said, that is going to come back and haunt us. Because one thing I knew is that Auburn was getting 2 of their star defensive linemen back in the second half. They had to sit out for some reason. And with Cam Newton, it didn't surprise me that they came back and won that game.
Well, they're going to go up 31-0, and Ingram's running in for a touchdown, and Auburn's guy comes up and runs him down and knocks the ball into the end zone for a touchback.
Yeah,
and that would have been 31-0.
Yeah.
It would have been unsurmountable, whatever the word is, unsurmountable or whatever.
I remember Coach Dye's first win over Alabama. Alabama had a big total yardage advantage in that game. That was probably 1981, 82. But Alabama had 4 or 5 fumbles that Auburn got back. And Auburn had a gritty team with Randy Campbell as quarterback. And Auburn won that game, played well in the fourth quarter, but really Alabama had ample chances to put that game away.
Lenny Patrick, you remember Lenny Patrick?
Yeah.
Pulled it out of Alabama. You remember that?
He made 2 of the best runs I've ever seen an Alabama player make to win that game. Auburn had a chance to win that game against a team that went on to, well, that was the team that won Coach Bryant's 315th victory.
Paul Carruth was from Park Lane High School in Macomb, Mississippi.
Thank you. I thought I was right.
He went to high school, though, over in, what's the name of that little old town? Joe Cribbs was from the same town.
Sulligent?
Sulligent, yeah, Sulligent. That's where he was from. He played at Sulligent. His daddy coached at Sulligent. But he lived in Point Reyes those way.
Okay.
But, I can remember...
We're the only talk show in the Southeast talking about Paul Carruth today.
That's right, exactly.
He had a pretty good pro career. He played for the...
Happy and we'll be talking Monday morning. I'm out. I gotta take my little one to the doctor.
All right, Michael, you too. Y'all have a great one.
Bill Rice, thank you so much for filling in for us this week, and hope you have a happy Thanksgiving. I hope to see you soon. Call me if you need tickets to the game, the big game Friday.
Okay.
And happy Thanksgiving, my friend, and I'll be getting up with you here.
Okay, and thank y'all for. Mike, you want to sign us
all
off?
All you folks out there, happy Thanksgiving. We'll be running this show again later on, and I hope that you enjoyed our show. And again, happy Thanksgiving.
And may the best team win Friday and Saturday.
Exactly right, my friend. Exactly right.